operating at the top of his game, from business to philanthropy. Who is Jim Ayers?
You know, I'm just a common West Tennessee guy, and we talked about it before we started this taping. I crappie fished on Beach River yesterday afternoon, had a good afternoon, by the way. My favorite sport of all is duck hunting, and I've duck hunted on the Tennessee River and Beach River and all around West Tennessee. I'm very fortunate to be able to do that. I am not a person who either wants to or has forgotten his roots. I still vote in Decatur County, and spent last night at my house in Decatur County, although we have a house here in Nashville now. And by the way, we'll be back in Decatur County tonight and tomorrow night. So we still feel like West Tennessee is home. And I don't ever want to move out of West Tennessee, and because these are my kind of folks.
How did a small town boy from Parsons, Tennessee, go on to become the chairman of the largest independently owned bank in Tennessee?
You got to realize, when I became chairman of what is now known as First Bank, it was Farmers State Bank in Scottsdale, Tennessee. That was in 1984, and it was one of the smallest banks in the state. So essentially, Steve White out of Parsons and myself, we acquired that bank and just grew it through acquisitions, grew it through branching. And we also grew kind of organically our markets and tried to expand our market penetration and so forth through those years. And up until about 9 or 10 years ago, Steve White was president of the bank and was very much involved in that process. And I think the way Farmers State Bank, which became First Bank, grew was providing a need, and a need was you had these businesses and individuals in these communities that we were in. It was first Scottsdale, Tennessee, then Lexington, Tennessee, then Huntington, Tennessee, and Camden and Jackson and on. We provided a service that at that time wasn't being provided. Number one, we would go out and ask people for their business. That was virtually unheard of in West Tennessee in the 80s and 90s. And then we tried our very best to give them the very best service that we could give, including going to their home or their office to close loans, and basically telling them we want them to come to our branch, but they never have to step foot in our branch. They just need to let us know, and we'll conduct their business at their home or their office. And we did a lot of that. And the bank just grew, and we did about 6 or 7 acquisitions, and I think that formula worked, and went from about $14 million in assets in 1984 till over $2 billion today, and some from one branch to about 45 or 46, all the way from Memphis to Knoxville and Chattanooga.
Since its inception in 1999, the Ayers Foundation has awarded over 1,730 scholarships. As a first-generation college graduate yourself, what has this program meant to you?
I get a lot of satisfaction out of seeing kids that probably would not have continued their education had they not had 2 things. Number one, somebody encouraging them, really encouraging them to go ahead. We're providing a service that many years ago you had more 2-parent homes and the parents were providing. That's encouraging these young people to continue their education and be the best person they could be. I don't think there's that much of that in our social structure today. And then number two, we're finding and in certain instances providing the financial resources. That really is much easier than most people realize given the resources today. It's just a matter of hooking a student up with the resources. I realized that problem when I sat, and I still do sit, on the foundation board at Jackson State. We had scholarships every year not being awarded, and I knew at my hometown school we had students that weren't going to school because they thought they couldn't afford it. And a lot of it had to do with matching the right students up with the right scholarships, and we do a lot of that with our counselors today. And by the way, the counselors are the key to the program. It's not the scholarships that we do. It's the counselors that motivate the student, and then they get out and they find other scholarships. They find $4 of outside scholarships for every dollar that we put up.
Another great benefit to rural West Tennessee was the creation of the Ayers Children's Medical Center in 2005. What need did you see that was not currently being met?
We know for a fact there was, and probably in some instances still are, a lot of parents that are struggling with just simple stuff like transportation to go to larger cities to have their sometimes seriously ill children taken care of. And I would get to thinking about these children that really never had a chance. You know, these children born with an illness, they didn't have any bad health habits. They didn't make any bad choices. They were just unlucky the way that they were born. And I think this is more profound, and this is sadder than us adults that may get sick, and many times it's because what do? We smoke too much, we drink too much, we don't exercise, we don't eat healthy. We bring some of that on. But it is a sad state of affairs when you've got in this world today, and it's a fact, children due to no fault of their own are not able to just have even just an average life. So I got to thinking about that, and of course Jim Moss came to see me, you know, and he kind of encouraged me to think in that line. And here I was, a pretty successful businessman, and I had the ability, by writing a check, to maybe change that. And some of these children that weren't getting the care that they really needed because the parents really didn't have a car. They didn't have the ability to drive to Nashville. There are people in our community that were and still are that way. And now we have managed to a great extent to bring those physicians and that care to those children that might otherwise either be bad health all their life or might not make it past childhood. And you know, it's rewarding just to think about those things. And they're not little things, they're big things. And anybody, I think, that focuses on the idea that a child is born and at 2 years they're having to spend time in hospitals and they're getting shots and they're getting hurt and they don't understand why. They don't even understand that all other children are not the same way. And I think it's just something that I'm the one that's fortunate. I have the good fortune to be in a position to do some of this to where other people would, but they're just not as fortunate as me. to have been as financially successful to do that. And I will assure you, I get more out of it than I give up.
Looking into the future, what is your dream for the patients served by the Ayers Children's Medical Center?
St. Jude's Medical Center, for many, many, many years, for example, has offered free care to the rich and the poor. And our dream is to be able to do the same thing at the Children's Medical Center. But that's our dream in the future for this hospital, and that we can offer this service both to people that can pay and people that cannot pay, and treat all those children just alike and not charge anybody. That's what we want. That's our dream. You want to know what our dream is? That's our dream. And we hope that one of these days we can do it.
From the patients served at the Ayers Children's Medical Center to the scholarship recipients of the Ayers Foundation and all of us who call West Tennessee home, thank you, Mr. Ayers. Mr. Ayers, a beautiful new facility here in downtown Nashville, and I would just like to say thank you on behalf of Westar, class of 2012, the West Tennessee Healthcare Foundation, and also Ayers Children's Medical Center for your time today, your generosity, your leadership, and not forgetting where you came from, and that's West Tennessee. And really like to go crappie fishing at some point one day.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Dave, good to have you all, and Westar is a great organization training leaders for West Tennessee. A lot of our guys have been through the course, and I think it's a great program.